Go for it.
So with the short synopsis of the class as we started, I wanted to do this because I'm seeing a whole lot of really bad pell drills out there. People are standing at their pell and they're for 100 shots. All of that is junk. If you do 100 bad shots for 100 days of bad fighting, it's taught you how to fight badly. Let's make 100 shots better. If you do 100 shots, do better shots than 100 bad fights. When does, and often it's you're in a perfect position, perfect placement, however you want to stand, and you throw your one shot. When does that happen in the fight? Once, maybe, if the guy doesn't move. Fighting is not about a stationary object. You get to stand in your perfect range, perfect position, and take your one shot if they have any skills at all. Fighting is about moving. It's about being in a good position, it's about being in a bad position. I want to talk a lot about people that fight with me about relying too much on the ground. When I first say that, they're like, what do you mean I'm pushing on the ground? I'm standing on the ground. You fight should be your fighting and your offense comes from your core, not necessarily from the fact that you've got a good stable footing and you can throw your flat snap. That's great, that happens once, maybe. If you're really good, you might be able to happen twice. But for the most part, fighting isn't happening. You need to be able to be out of balance, in not such a great position, and still deliver a killing shot, but the way you pivot and move through your fights, practice that with the pell. The other is, I practice most of my pell work from the last offense, right? Through my primary defense to that offense. Like I said, we don't start here all day. I've thrown this off leg. Right? What is likely my biggest risk if I throw this as an opening shot? What's the biggest risk? All right, this is my biggest risk. Do I want to make this block? No, I don't want to go. Yes. So if I'm going to start with this opening shot, primary target's going to be here. So I'm going to make my defense through that primary target, right? From offense, through defense, to offense. Now I'm in a better place. Right? What else have I got? That was my flat snap. What else have I got? From offense, I could step towards it. I could, once again though, I'm going to step under primary, return to offense. So the flat snap, what's my biggest risk?
Flat snap right back.
Probably going to flat snap right back at me. So what do I want to do about that? Do I want to do this?
Nope.
I see a lot of that, a lot. People are doing their pell drill, bang! Which means you go, pow, and I'm dead. Pow, and I'm dead. If you move away from it, what's the value? Right? I think you're talking about something else. I see that too. People say, well, and then I go this way. But you haven't gained any fight. You've given up the fight at that point. You're hoping to start over. Right? So that, come to here, step into it, make the exchange. Now I'm in a good place to load. That's my primary target. So we're going to go through your pell drills. I've thrown my offside head. Primary target's likely what? Isn't it crazy? Flat snap's just a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you learn a lot of your returns over your zone. This is your primary zone. This zone, that zone. What if I'm perceiving my opponent coming low on this side? So this is part of what you're doing. You never leave your shield behind you. We throw it. This side is my primary target. So I'm going to step from here to this position, cover the leg, cover the high head, step back and make my snap if I need to. Right? Always bring your defense as part of your offense. Defense can be described as a position of opportunity.
Put itself in timeout.
I need them. I want to throw this flat snap. How do I get my opponent to throw that flat snap? What's the best place I throw it from? My flat snap currently is actually not really a flat snap. I throw it best from this off block. I've learned that works really well for me, either in front of the head or behind the head. If I just throw that, I'm at risk. Can't cover the leg, can't cover the head at the same time. Really risky. I'm hoping they don't move. Bad hope, right? So if I want to throw this line, how can I get my opponent to put me in this position? I call these positions, whatever those you like, your position of go. It's a go point. I will be very defensive until they put me in a place I like to fire from. That is my go point, whatever it is. If I can get this guy to throw this off head and puts me here, right in front of him, I'm golden. So I'm going to block, 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 and suddenly they'll put me into a place that's my go point. They'll put me here. Once they put me in that position, then I can auto fire. I'm not randomly, blindly firing into somebody's offense, not knowing where they're at and what they're doing. So how do I get them to put me in my go position? See, my opponent, pell work, real quick, you must be brutally honest with yourself about what you do. I open with this a lot. For example, I don't, and some people do, but say you open with that a lot. Legitimately, really, what's going to happen now? Right? You're going to get hit. Rather than break the habit that you just do at this point and deny yourself, this is what I naturally do, let's make what you naturally do better. I don't want you to fight like me, or fight like that guy, or fight like that guy. Fight like how you fight. But make what you do better. You can decide if you want to abandon things or improve things. But let's make what you naturally do, try and make it better. I can teach you tall, right? That guy can teach you strong. That guy can teach you this. I need to teach you like you fight. You open with this. Why do you open with that? Maybe you want to bait the flat snap. Make that return. That's a great opening actually for a short person because you know that they always have your head in target. If you're fighting a taller guy, they always have your head in target. All right. I'm going to give you that line knowing that shot's coming. I'm going to make you punish you for it. Make the block, make the leg shot if you need to. So your pell work's not standing. All right, I've thrown my opening shot. My biggest risk is here. Step away from that risk, take on a shot. That's one motion. I've decided to throw the wrap as an opening shot, really dumb opening shot. What's my biggest risk? Still this zone. So from the wrap, how do I want to get out of here? Kind of, that's part of the problem of the wrap. You're stuck. You can't get back. You can cover your head or your leg. And forbid they throw anything else. Right? Opening wraps are really risky for opening shots, unless you plan on directing your opponent. Opening wrap. If I take a deep step with my sword side, what happens? I can get out from under that. That's what you practice. You find yourself in that position. You get hit here a lot. Practice that step out, step across. That's the whole motion. The pell work is not just walking to step. What if I do a reverse hip on the pell? What does that do? Right, so we'll talk about how the wrap actually happens anyway. Wraps don't happen out. You don't throw your arm out and crank it over. That's your elbow kill. Also really reduces your power. For me, wraps happen behind me. So here, once they come past my shoulder, I'm just guiding it. There's no longer a push from me. There's no longer a shove to try and make it straight. If I find I'm throwing them flat, do a reverse hip, it comes out straight. The reverse hip changes the distance you're pulling from. If I do the reverse hip, it just pulls over. And generates a ton of force without any extra effort. What else does reverse hip do for you? It sets you to move. Right? If you stand here and you throw the wrap and you're not prepared to go anywhere, you're prepared to sit down. That's how you're going to die. Everything needs to have a movement built in. So you throw the reverse wrap, reverse hip, step, move. That's one motion. Does that make sense? There are shots that have more risk value and less risk value. Practice these on your pell. Does this have risk value? What's the risk value?
Follow your sword in.
What's that?
They can follow your sword in on your offside.
I can also follow their sword. Now, what are they likely to do with me?
I'm sorry.
They're likely to throw into this zone.
Right.
So from here, lift my basket up, their sword's on top. Really simple to transition. So if I got a guy that's super fast and super twitchy, I can already be on top of where he's going with that move motion. Can I do that from here? can, it's different though. I make this snap if there's no movement. If I take my sword leg and step forward just a little bit, step to here.
But you're not doing a tip drop, you're doing that.
I'm doing a sword up. Sword up is different than a sword down. Right? I can do a sword down motion. It's a bigger motion. I'm going further. Right? If I do a sword, if I make a sword up motion, I'm probably stepping this way. If I do a sword down motion, I'm probably going this way.
That's what I'm working on.
Right. That's how people talk about a lot of lateral motion. I don't do a lot of lateral motion. So if I'm in front of my opponent, don't go anywhere, and I step over here, am I at risk?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm no longer facing him. Right? Facing is super important. You must face your threat. Let me emphasize that again. Face the threat. If this is my opponent my threat? His body is not my threat. His body cannot kill me. The weapon is what kills you, not the body. So when I'm making my position and on my pell, I've decided I'm throwing my flat snap, I've got sword, shield leg forward. This is my biggest risk. When I make my transition, I'm not transitioning my opponent. Right? I want to be against his likely threat. I can be facing his body, but this is the threat line. My defense is against this plane or this plane. Right now it's this plane, because that opening, this is my likely threat. Does that make sense? If they're a left-handed fighter, how does that change things?
Threat's going to be on the opposite side. So
You should never be surprised by a lefty, ever, ever, ever. I'm shocked when it happens. Shocked. That means you are going through your motions without actually ever looking at your opponent. If you don't assess the threat, you're just playing whack-a-mole, hoping that you have a different whack-a-mole than they do. You're just doing your thing, right? Without ever seeing who and what you are fighting. Mostly it's what. If I'm here and the threat suddenly appears over there, you should say, hey, wow, that threat is over here. Maybe I should do something about the threat. Not the body, not what I'm doing. What is the threat? So we're going to, do I face a lefty? This is my lefty. What do I do? How do I face that lefty? What a lot of people do is they push their shield, which is now what? Mechanically really bad for you. Good for them, bad for you. Right? The threat is here. So we're going to face the threat. What are the lefty's primary shots? They have this line, they have this line, they have this line. There are three things that typically throw really well.
Offsides and rights.
Offside legs are risky, they don't usually throw them. Offside bodies are difficult, they don't usually throw them. You throw this zone, and that flip. So what are we working on? Those three positions. What's the fastest thing they're going to throw typically? Yeah. It's not actually a flat snap. It's risky. Because if the lefty gets out here too long, he's at risk. If the lefty throws this, less risk. Right? These tend to be the fastest shots they're going to throw that on the long route. They can bring this with them and throw these. So those are the two biggest, earliest things you have to worry about. All I'm worrying about when I'm going through these drills, even when I'm fighting live combat, the next fastest thing they have available. Everything else takes a load. Right? From here, can I effectively throw a wrap?
Yeah.
Can I throw a flat snap?
Yeah.
Can I throw an off head?
Yeah.
Now we're talking mechanics.
Yeah.
To throw the off head, I'm going to have to really change what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That is slower. You have time to see that. From this position, what can I throw effectively?
Offside, head.
Offsides are tough. How would I throw an offside? I got no way to load this thing. I can do it. I can shove it out there. All this mechanics you can see. That's super easy. That's really easy. Can I throw a wrap effectively from here? Can. It's slower. Right? It takes load. Don't worry about those things. I'm really worried about what you can throw from where you're at, the next fastest thing. So in your pell practice, all right. On my line, this is my risk. I want to throw the leg wrap on the right side. Make my step, take my wrap. I've thrown my off head. What's my risk? This is my risk zone. Take my step. Take my shot. Right? I've thrown this off leg. What's my risk? This is my risk zone. I don't want to deal with that. You want to go to the same side every time? Maybe I want to step here, do it again. Maybe I want to step here, make a snap out of it. Right? Learn how to get around what you can do. There's a drill. I don't know if I can do it on this pell or not. It's called lean drill. I'm going to try it. Do without a basket on your sword. It's a thing I played with a little bit to teach you how to get your mechanics underneath what you're doing. So I've thrown and I've put all my weight forward. Can I throw wrap? Can I gather myself well enough to throw wrap? So I'm going to gather myself under my weapon. So I can throw that, I can deliver that shot. What you're teaching yourself is where do my feet need to go, and where do my elbow need to go? And I go this way? How do I do that? If I step with a sword leg forward, what does that do for me? I can just run over. Because right now, I can't get to anything. My defense is on the wrong side. It's over here. He's on that side of it. So let's see. Maybe if I want to go that way, maybe I've got to go sword leg forward. I'm in a better place. I can turn out of this thing and fire if I need to. What if I want to throw? What does it take? What does it take for my elbow to get a flat snap in? What am I going to do? Take a little step with sword leg and get under it again, get under this position, so I can stand up and take that shot. Right? And then I went into the next position. I make my lean, defense, offense, defense. Because what's likely, that's the next step. What's likely the next thing they do? Even if you hit them and they're a zombie and they hit you, you're still dead. You were killed by a zombie, that's fine, it happens. So what do? Defense, offense. What's my biggest risk right now? It's this whole side. Back in the defense. I'm in a good place. Right? Transition out of it. Always, every offense wants to come through a defense to the next defense. If I want to throw a leg grab, mechanically, what have I got to do? It looks really easy until you try and do it. It's like, oh, that was more complicated than it should have been. I had to gather myself here. Now I want to throw a snap, but I don't want to throw a snap. I want to throw the wrap. So how do I make that wrap happen? Step a little bit with the sword leg to get better balance, and then reverse hip. Right? If I do the reverse hip, what's my biggest risk? They're coming this way, so where do I want to go? So you make that very smooth. On your pell in time, I've thrown something forward in my balance. Gather myself. Wrap, step, my next shot.
I can't help it!
What if you want to trend? There's basically timing to that, right? Bang, 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 bang. What if I don't want to throw? What if it's not a viable shot, which happens to a lot of people? They throw because they feel they have to. You don't have a shot, go to your next available defense. I put myself all forward. I gather my defense. I gather my defense. Likely if I'm here, and now my opponent makes that shot, what's he likely doing next? I'm coming this way. Defense is here, defense is here. So you can make that transition, come back to this position, back to your offense. Practice ditching defenses if you need to. If you're going to ditch something, ditch a defense. Ditch an offense. Keep your defense. From the way I fight. I want to offense, defense, offense if I have to. Rather than throw that I don't have a target, or I don't know what they're doing, or I've lost them for a moment, primary defense. Always go back to your primary defense. People ask me, well, you're really fast going back to that, you're making that block. Because I don't have to see you. I care less where you're at, because I've done this so many times. I know that I've thrown the wrap, or the snap, the leg. No one at risk. I don't have to actually see what you're doing. Chances are, most people fight the next fastest thing they have, especially if it's open. So if I've thrown this, I know I'm going, because you're going there too.
So when I am
Well, think about that. If I throw this, and I know where they're going, I know where their body's going to be.
so I'm gonna hit Neil with the
Throw this, I know they're going to be here kind of laying out for that snap. What am I going to do here?
I'm gonna do the snap.
From this position, what does this have? What's the next offense?
It's gonna flip right over. So what I teach my guys is that the wrap is just
Let's say I've done that.
the flat snap.
So on this line, I've made this block, make a shot. Stay there. What do I have?
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna hit this shot.
You think the offhand, right? But really, there's a lot of traffic. So what's a better option? What's likely he going to do? He's going to throw this line, right? So I'm going to do now where I'm at. Oh, I'm in a much better place. That's a perfect time to ditch the offense. Yes, I could try and make that, but I can't get up here. Super risky. You might get the hit. You're probably going to die. We've thrown. I've made my shot. He's on off head for me. Great. That's what we practice the pell. This shot, this block. Ditch this offense you might have available back to this defense. Then you make your offense. Does that make sense? That's that really honest with the pell. What's happening? Visualize the actual impact of what your fighter is going to do to you. Know what your risks are. If I step here, if he hasn't moved, if I step here, what's my risk? Yeah, all kinds of stuff on that side, because I'm denying all this side. That's cool. What if I want that to happen? I'm going to use that, and I can step here and make this turn. Knowing they're going to go this way. So first off, from distance. That's where I do it. If I step here, what do you see? If I do this, where would you go? That's my motion. I'm going to control where her offense is going to go. From distance. I step to create the tension on this side and make sure the sword where I want to be. And give her something to work with, knowing where she's going to go. Now I'm going to same thing on the pell. From distance. Step here, knowing where it's going to happen, make my shot. It is not stand here and slug at it. Approach your pell. You approach here. I'm going to make this motion. What's likely going to happen? Right? My opponent is facing that way. You've got all kinds of side on. Right? Where do I want to go? I can make this motion. What does this get me from here? That's my point. What does this get me? Does it give me the outside head? Come back here, please. Right? So I've gone here, and I've back across. Does it give me the outside head? If you throw, right here, right? As soon as I go to any kind of return, maybe, but it's risky. Once again, I'd rather go for if you don't move, I have stuff I can do. If you stay there, I can maybe take the leg shot. If you drop the sword down behind you, I can maybe take the offhand. I'm likely going to go back to my primary defense here. That's where you're going. Puts me in a good offense. What if I do that with sword in the reverse direction? Rather than catch a sword up, what if I go sword down? What does that change? Yeah, it changes a whole bunch of world things, doesn't it? I can do all kinds of stuff from here. The leg, the body, the head, begin my wraps, all kinds of stuff. How fast do you want to transition through that? So practice this. Practice from distance, sword up, and what that means, from distance, sword down, and what that means. Where are you going to go? Do it slow. It doesn't have to be 100 fast shots. It doesn't do any good. What am I doing? From here, biggest risk, sword down. What can I do with the sword down shot? If I feel like really visualize your opponent, and I don't have anything in here, maybe I just another primary defense gets me from a sword down, transition to a sword up. Now I can do something else with this. Does that make sense? Really be honest about what your opponent's likely to do to you. I trained for years and years in front of a big sliding glass door in my house, right? So that Because I didn't have anybody to train me. I was new and I had to figure it out on my own. So I would stand in my living room and look at myself and, all right, this is what I would do to that guy. If you don't know what you present to your opponent, you don't know how to react to what they're going to do. I know if I'm here, I'm standing with Fergus, and I stand like this, what's Fergus likely to throw at? Oh, pow! Yeah! Well, because I know what I'm presenting to him. Does that make sense? So if I want to start with, I want to bait that shot. I want to bait the off leg. Go to practice, you're going to get your off leg hit a lot until you figure out, I don't need to stand, so that it looks like it's available. They feel comfortable to throw the shot. We'll talk about threat a little bit. Because if they don't feel comfortable throwing the shot, they're not going to throw that shot. They're going to throw something else. I need you to feel unthreatened enough. Whatever it takes. Right? So that you feel comfortable throwing the shot, I need you to throw. Real hard time when I was fighting two-stick. Right? So I'm out here working them at pell. I'm like, okay, how can I be not threatening?
Not threatening with two-bladed pikes. Yeah.
I can't get them to do the junk I need them to do because they're like, no, you're going to hit me. Okay, so even in my two-sword work, I'm not out there just slugging away. I've never seen any of me ever do that. I had to learn how to diminish the threat. I actually approach my two-stick sword fighting here. Why do I do that? Right, I can start the offense. I can transition from this line and bang. I can begin the position I want, knowing where they are. I can control what I want them to do. What if I come at them up here? What happens when I do this? Right, they throw the leg, throw it on the slot too. But the leg's the biggest one because the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to do this. Rip that sucker off. Right, I'm going to take the top of your head clean.
That's what it looks like, by the way, just so we're clear.
Right, if I want to actually strike more with the left hand, how do I want to promote that? How do I get the left hand free? How do I get the left hand free? Get them through this side exactly. So if I want to free my left hand, I'm going to actually turn so that this side of me is more available. So on that strike, so if I step here, what do you see? Right? Freeze up my left hand. I can make this block pow and freeze up the left hand because I've given you where I want you to go. Make sense? If you come at somebody super defensive,
you are kind enough to not block the ball.
if you come at somebody super defensive,
If you have given me
what are they likely to do?
so I try my best.
They're likely to be more interesting. Screw interesting. I want you to be simple and easy for me. I don't want you to have to pull out your A game. Oh, B game's good. Give me your B game. Big B game. Let them decide, oh, I can get you here. Great. You don't have to wonder where they're going. If I come at you like this, where are you likely going? Are you shooting my legs? Probably not. You don't have to worry about that. So with your pell, it's the same idea. I'm baiting, I want this leg to happen. If I stand here, if you saw that, what would you do? Most people are going to take, either they're going to ditch out, right? Or they think, wow, I think I can take that off leg. It's great. How do you make your transition out of it? Practice that on your pell. How do I get from this low position that has virtually no defense available here, then I'm going to die from here. I'm going to approach my fight, knowing this is my biggest risk. I'm going to approach this fight. Now I just did a little shuffle with my feet. Let me talk about that one. I want to end up here, that foot there. Do I start with that foot there here? What happens? If I take a step forward, I'm no longer in the right position to take the shot I wanted. So it's like writing a book. They say you write the book in the back. Right at the end, go to the beginning. I want to be here. If I start with my shield like forward, give them that shot, they make the flat snap, I step into that, and I'm in the position I want to be in. That's cool. So right backwards, where do I want to end up being? I want to end up being over here, on sword leg, deep inside the outside. Right? How does that work? Well, take 2 steps out. I do start sword leg forward. I position, if I want to go this way, I can position into here, transition into here. Shoot that shot. If you just make the run, what's likely they're going to do? Move! You just stay right there. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to give you something to work with. Right? From distance. Give my pell something to work with. Deny that primary shot. Move to my secondary position, denying their next available shot. Throw my reps, throw my snap, whatever you want to throw on that side. Does that make sense? Right? What if I want to go this way? If I want to eventually be here. But if that's the shot I really want. How do I do that? How do I get here? Alright, well, I need them to not move. If you just make this run, they're going to just turn and face. And you just stay there. So we're going to step here, deny primary target. Right? From distance, not from here. That's the biggest thing we've got going on right now in the West, the worst in the world, is how we approach our fighting. We don't approach our fighting, we get, okay, I can reach you. Let's fight from here. What are you hoping you accomplish from here? What is happening in this position? We're hoping you are faster than you. This is just a speed game. No control of your opponent, no control of yourself. You're hoping, God, you are just faster. That's all you got from here. Faster. Maybe you're stronger. Likely just faster. I am fast. I don't want to have to fight fast. Fast is a great tool. You cannot build an entire house out of one tool. And as you age, speed will diminish. Fight smarter, not faster. Right, so let's say I don't want to be here. I want to be here. I want the fight to be happening in this position. Work on my gun. We also got a that's another center hill. Scrap it. So with this, what's my biggest risk? What's my step here? What's my risk? Back to the head, back to the leg, right? So when do I want to make this position? Super important. When do I decide that this is okay to do with this shield?
Once they've already thrown it first time.
Once they've thrown something else, they know where they're at. Or their offense is in a place they can't get to. I tend to not use these for a bunch of reasons, and that's one of them. Can I cover this leg really well? What happens when I step here? What have I got to do to cover that? Yeah, you got to do some cool stuff with your body to make that coverage happen. Which means you're kind of killing your offense. You can, if you learn how to, take that each step, get deeper in there. What does that take? What does it take on your body? A lot of athleticism, really. As you get older, that deep dip is going to go away. You know, I'm not doing this anymore.
I can hear my knee right now.
You have 20 years of doing this? Oh, God. You can do it. You got to learn. You got to learn what your tool does best. What's another option to make that block? Can you rotate this thing down? These things don't do that really well. So likely you're not fighting in this direction you're walking. You can. You push the bottom of it out. What? Yeah. So this sword leg forward, though it's become popular with heaters, super risky. Well, what's the other big risk you got up here? We talked about the inside thigh, the back of the head. Because to lean forward with this exposes the back of your head. But, once again, if you know that, all right, I'm going to give that my opponent the back of the head to work with. You start out forcing that weapon up high, keeping it away from this leg. If I start out with something like this, whatever your guard is, the weapon's probably going to be up here. Much harder to throw the offside leg now. Right? You're going to step to this position, Rap's coming, right? Likely, what's he doing while the rap's coming? Do not. You go with the opening motion. I step here, throw the rap. Where's his body? I've got that. I've got these. I've got all kinds of stuff that come around here. Especially these things that are super easy. And what does this have built in with this offense? What does it have built in? Right, because let's say I make the block and he comes back. What's he doing next? Either coming that way, that way the instrument might be a shield. Why would you throw in the middle of the shield? Exactly. Well, that's part of the practice too. Why would you throw in the middle of the shield? This is likely to happen. So from this position, I make a move step, throw the wrap, I make this whole thing, probably going to go back around. Same thing with your pell work. I know that this step is risky. Back of my head, back of my leg. Right? What else have I got? What if I step here? What's my biggest risk? This right here. That's okay. To have those holes are fine, but you know what they are. I don't want to deal with that. Do I want to deal with that by throwing a shot? And that's what happens. People leap in there, they think they have to throw something. You started the offense going. You said lock, right? Just because you're in position doesn't mean you have to throw. In position, knowing that's my risk. Feel that risk. And now you have a shot available. Give them the hole, know what it is, but minimize what it is. If I make this step, likely snaps, not an option. From this position, the wrap is going. Like, you throw a wrap from there? Now, wraps happen when I'm here. I'm going to die. Right? What if I'm here? I go, whoop, go wrap, it's gone. Go snap. Also gone, right? The difference is position. If I'm here, I haven't moved. I'm in the wrong spot. I'm going to die a lot. Wraps, defensive wraps come from position. I want to throw that snap. I think I'm faster than that guy, maybe. Likely it's better to have him unload something from this position. You see a lot of head action going on. Make this defense. Make that offense. However you want to do it. However you want to transition through, making sure they've done what you need them to do. If it's from here, standing nearly upright, you step forward. You don't put the sword forward and then step. You begin from this and you begin the step, and as you move into range, you deny the target. Because they see it as you're coming in. They're going to have to throw the thing. They kind of have to. Built in, you've got to throw the target. Stop. Cool. If you come this way, it's too defensive. Throw something else. No more time. Step in, deny as you step. You see the transition between this. Do something from this. Now we can do all kinds of it. Know what you present, work on that with the pell. I step here, I know this is my risk. I deny that whole side, snap across. When I make this position, I know that's a risk, and I come to here, what is likely my opponent doing at that point? Right? Really important. Because you've made this position, you know they're swinging that side. They come across and throw a hammer down the middle. Is that going to do me any good? Probably not. They probably have something in the way. Their body is guarded by their sword or shield. Something's in the way. So from this position, giving them that side, make this strike across and you're covering this whole zone. You want to make a strike out of this? Maybe not. What are they going to do? Most of them bail out or they'll flip a snapshot. Right? Snapshot. So like from here, make my clearance, make my block, make my snap back to my primary. By giving them this side I want them to start with. Does that make sense? Any questions about how that works? In practice, you will get hit a bunch. Practice, it's okay. How do I make them feel comfortable throwing a shot that I want them to throw? I don't want you to come up with something. I don't have to track everything down that you do. I want you to throw when I want you to throw because that's what I want to block. That's what I want to kill you with. Throw that. This is the biggest hole. Make my transition. Make my offense. This is the biggest hole once again. Transition to the offense. They're still alive. Where do I go to from here? Just going to sword down is fine. Can we do a sword up from here? How would we do it? You almost turn your arm into a corkscrew and you turn it. It comes here. You're going to step this way and you come right into this position. What does it give you? So that's more important in pell work than lack of distance. How can I get from this position to this defense, to this offense, through this defense, to this offense? How can I get from this offense, through this defense, to that offense, to here? How can I get from that very same route? Can I go this way? Can I go that way? How does it happen? You will have to figure out how your body does this smoothly. For me, I'm going to take another shuffle step to the shield side. I'm going to corkscrew my sword out of it. It gets me in this position. Practice. How do I get from here to here? Is it just pulling my sword out? Is it doing this? Ooh. Is it trying to do that? How do I do that? It's a whole body thing. Screwed out? Yeah. Once you've done that, you've gone to here, what now? You're in a kind of a good spot, right? Shield's here. Here's my shield is anyway. What are you going to do with this? Well, it depends. You've thrown this. Remember, where are they likely at? If you've thrown that and they've made that block, they live through it. You pull through. What's your offense? Do you want to throw a wrap from here? Because they're already here. Could you throw a leg? You could. Is that leg shot risky? Why is it risky? Right, because they're on this side going this way. So if I'm over here, I want to maybe fire into the head. Because what does it give me? What's the next position? They're on that side. Here. That's likely where they're going. After that, what's happening? Yeah, sure, you could rip the leg off and deny out. Even if you rip that leg off, deny out, right? I'm still in a good position. So if he decides to chase me, I'm fine. If I throw the leg and do this, just praying to God to hit him. Because if it didn't, they run you over, you're a dead guy. Every offense, through a defense, even if you think you're done, fishing, snap, or grab, throw that fishing, grab your leg, and ditch out. Still back that primary defense. A lot of what I'm doing is not these great big steps. Steps and pivots. Right? These steps and pivots. The pivot gets the sword to the place I want it to be at. I'm not waving my arm around trying to make it happen. Sword's going to stay here. I'm going to pivot that way and leave my hand there and make the transition. Sword's going to stay there in the primary line through the pivot of what I'm doing. Does that make sense? Some of them come around your head. Some of them don't. Some of them come here and transition in front of you. Practice that on the pell. What's the risk if I leave this here and I do my pivot and make my shot? My next defense is here. What's the risk if I do that? So, I personally say, I come to you, you're fighting, and I take it and I say, no, just put yourself behind me. Flat snap's good, wrap's also risky. So if I've stepped here and I've thrown this, the biggest risk is this zone of movement. Not a specific shot is not the point. This zone is at risk. Made my step. Made my transition back to here because that's covering that entire zone as I make my transition. If they hit, if they make that block, if I make the block, where are they going next? They're coming over here. Right? That stepping, those pivots, and what you need to practice. How do I approach my threat? I'm going to step here, into my primary shot, and a little off his nose is here, a little off the nose, makes this my primary shot. Leave my shield low, don't have to worry about the legs so much. You will primary, he's laid across the front of me. Let him go to a secondary shot, make my strike, back to my primary. You guys have watched me fight a bunch. I've seen that exact thing happen. That's how I go through those things with the sports team from distance. Provide them with something I want them to fight over. Give them this line, my strike, and I'm out of there. Little transitions through what you're doing. This, which is what people are doing with their pell drill. I throw 100 really bad shots, but I'm going to post. It's 100 crap shots. I've seen a lot of guys trying to do this. These little flip things. You practice that 100 times, you're probably not going to kill anybody in the West with it unless you get him in the nose. There's not enough force in there. And really, once you get to my age, Trelane's age, no, Ben's age.
I'm glad he went to point at me and saw you. That's all.
We're not doing this for 20 years. Break the elbow off. It's not worth it. What's a better offhand shot? If you want to throw this, how do you practice that? You see the motion I just made? Here. Primary defense. And I've stepped. And what is it loaded? My core. Right? I don't have to go anywhere. I can make a little step within the sword foot, but really have power and distance. With my step to here. What's it look like I'm doing? Oh, bounce, I look like he's going down. Why did I do it 6 times? It's all coming down with that shot. Because from my shoulder height is their head. It's a tall guy shot. Teach me that. Okay, it's cool. Their leg is big. I'm going to step with my sword leg forward, deliver into that. Can you do to the shorter guy? Absolutely. Because what are they in fear of when you're, especially when you're shorter? The risk of this line. So if you take that deep step and really sell the fact that I'm looking here, I'm going to sell that. Learn how to transition smoothly into that position. Right? Because they're dumping deep, making sure you're covering that side. Right? Sell it. Get yourself a good set. Shields here. You're in a good set position. You're not just going to fire. You'll let your whole body throw this thing. Sword leg comes forward. Delivers that shot. Primary defense. Does that make sense? Got my sports heater. I want to work on that leg. How do I do that? He did not have this be his threat right now. Because if I do this, you're just going to die. That's a bad idea. I'm going to throw that leg. I think I can rip it off. How do I do that? Well, for me, with my sports heater, I actually want to approach and make him throw that snap again. However I can do it. I can come. I will usually go sword down, make my approach, sword down. So when this impact happens, I can go to this line. What's he likely doing next? Yeah, he's coming this way. So I've gone from here, primary defense, made this line to here. And now I'm going this way. In his primary defense. This is what he's likely striking. Do I want to make a shot from here? Can. What's the risk? I got nothing back here, right? Because likely someone like Ben or anybody, any chop is going to go pow pow. Right? They're going to hit me on the other side of the head. So this position, though I think I could speed something in there, is not worth it at all. Ditch the offense if you have to. Primary defense. And what has your opponent done in front of you? He's done this. And now he's kind of screwed over. You're right there. You're in a much better place than him. Position's more important than maybe you might get a shot on. Maybe he's not good enough. You want to win a thing? Maybe he's not good enough. Ditch that offense if you don't need it. Ditch that offense. From this position into primary defense. Make my strike. Make this defense. Can I do it this way? What happens if I do it this? It's a fine defense from here. Do I have an offensive option? Not really. Can I make a defensive out of it? I can go to here. He's likely going back that way. I can go to here. Oh, that's good. It's not a bad place to be in because it makes you look like you're in a bad spot. You can't step under that. The biggest risk about stepping under that is what? I go from here. I've gone this position, that position, sword down. I want to go this way. Feet are right in the right place. I could take a sword side leg step. What happens?
Butt wrap.
I can take another sword side step, and get deep in here. I can do that. It's a little more athleticism, but you absolutely can do that. But when you get tired of doing that, you need to be able to do something else. It's a fine step. If feel you got the motion to do it, make that step. What else can you do? Rather than step, what's my biggest risk? This line. If I pivot, I have to change anything. Pivot, now I can unload. We'll do all kinds of things. That's your practice on your pell. From this, how do I approach it? First off, how do I approach it safely? For me, I want to go from this position, make my defense, primary offense, primary defense, offense to my defense. I want to get that. I want to throw that wrap. How do I do it? Right, I go from this position, I rotate this over to here, primary defense again. How do I do that? I just pivoted on my feet. Primary defense again. This hasn't gone anywhere, but what does your opponent see? The head defense move. So they fire into the stupid thing. You're here, zoom, pow, and you fire into it almost every time. Now you've got the leg, the wrap, all kinds of things. That snap is you need. From this position here, especially if they're fast fighters, they're twitchy. When they see that motion, pow, they have to fire into that motion. Use it. Alright, class is over, guys. Any questions? Yes. I don't. I'm going to make my step, turn, fire, make my defense. Truly be honest with yourself with what your hands do. I don't throw at my top speed most of the time. I'm throwing at 3/4 speed or less until I actually want to make a strike. Most of this is slow. And literally, my full speed is not any faster now. I'm going to go this way, and this way, bang, bang, bang. That part has speed to it. The rest of this, I'm positioning, I'm here, I'm stepping, finally making my shot. That was full speed. If you go too fast, I don't know what you're doing. I'm going to do something else like that. I'm going to give you enough time to think you have something to work with. Deny it. We're going this way. Deny that line. Just because I've made this transition from here to here, I stepped under, do I have to take a shot? What have they done if I just done this? What did they do? They ditched really deep usually. I leave this on my shoulder, so a little bit longer, and I turn out. I make that shot of it back to my primary defense. Because this position, from here, sword up, turn to a sword down, wrist, everything on the outside. They might throw the wrap as they ditch out. Still gives you enough. You don't have to go faster. You'd be surprised how slow you can do these things, and they will still fire into your primary defense. Faster is actually not better. And as you get better, it can become faster. The more often it's not faster, it becomes smoother. But it's not. You're not trying to do it from here. It's from distance. Right? Transitioning through these positions. So it's time to strike at them. The closer I get, the more angles they can get on me. The further out I am, and if I'm here, that's the line. If I get closer, we can do all kinds of stuff, right? Get around and get all kinds of crazy. Even if you want to keep on the end of your sword, you can get all kinds of deep stuff. If I'm here, and I throw that to that guy, how is this going to happen? How does that happen? Yeah, but playing with each other's bellies. Here, everything my opponent's going to throw at me is going to come down to my angles. Do I have to block the world? Nope, I have to block right here. This side and that side. That's how big I am. A little bigger, you got to block here. That's really it. The closer you get, the broader you have to block. Now you have angles. Right out here. So I'm ready to make that transition in. Repel work. From the last offense, through a defense. What legitimately do I have? They're firing up here. What do I want to do? You want to make the backhand? A lot of traffic. Can I turn this over? Give me something better? What is the game with? If I've done this and they've made the flat snap, where are they going? they're going here. That's a better position for you. They're spun out in front of you. So like, you can reposition again. You don't have to take every shot that comes to you. Practice denying those offenses for a better offense that doesn't get you killed. Approach your pell. Don't stand here. Here's my X. Approach your pell. And if you approach, any questions? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.